welcome. I'm going to be talking about strategies today, and let's kick off with the desert. The Marathon des Sables. Now, how did the Marathon des Sables come to Iceland? Do you understand? How many people in the room know what that is? A few. Okay. So the Marathon des Sables is the toughest foot race on earth. 6 marathons, back to back, across the Sahara Desert, carrying everything you can survive on your back for 7 days. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's not as easy as that. It's a little bit tougher than it sounds, because you get to do a half marathon on the first day and a half marathon on the last day. But on day 4, you have to do a double marathon, 52 miles across the longest sand dunes in the Sahara, still carrying everything you need to survive on your back. Now, hands up in the room who think they could do that. Thank you, the president is stepping forward. By the end of this 40 minutes, I want you all putting your hands up. Because anyone can do it. Now, I did that in 2007. There's me crossing the finishing line. It's amazing what the body can do, because in the last 3 miles of that race, I ran faster than I've ever run before. I didn't know that was possible. But when you do something like this, imagine that endurance over a 7-day period. In order to do that, you need strategy. And not just one. Because a lot of people think, well, what do you think you need to do that? What do you need to do in advance? Train. And that's the one most people are focused on. You think, shit, you need to be fit to do that. And yes, you do. But it's not just the fitness. You have to have hydration strategies. You need to have food strategies. Your kit has to be dialed in. saw people get their legs ripped off in the sandstorm because they didn't wear long trousers. There's a clue why the Arabs wear long robes. Because when the sandstorms come in, I tell you, it's brutal. That sand is glass. I saw people rip their feet off because they didn't get their foot strategies right. And this is just like business. There's multiple strategies in business, and most of you will only be doing a couple of them. And that means the ones that you're missing are the ones that's going to kill you. And in that desert, it's brutal. A man died on that desert with me, and it put the reality home of how serious this stuff is. And sadly, I see businesses die all the time. And they don't need to. So part of what I'm going to be doing today is showing how you don't die in business, how you keep going, and how you can achieve anything. I'm going to be coming in from different angles, but for the ones who are in business, the next slide is going to hit home. For the ones who are coming into business, I'm about to save you a whole heap of pain. All right? So, in order to do that, you have to have strategy, but your why needs to be big enough. Now, what Arun has just laid down is the vision. What I'm about to lay down is the purpose. Because if you got the why wrong, the strategy is irrelevant. Okay? So we have to go there first, and for the rest of the day, by the way, a lot of the strategy is going to be layered. So all my wonderful colleagues and stuff are going to layer the strategies more and more. As we get into purpose, by the way, so just to get ready on your tables, the strategy on a page methodology, which we're going to come into, is here. All right? Now, for those, so just get them ready. I'll be showing you where you can use them in a minute. Just so you know, for a lot of you creatives in the room, we're doing a brand day. There's a picture. All right? I've actually made strategy into a picture for those like that. It's also a spreadsheet for the more analysts. And for those who like feeling, we've got a load of heart right in the middle of it. All right? So we cover something for everyone. So just get that ready. And by the way, this is something you can use for the rest of the day, because all of my colleagues, you'll be dialing the strategy in from different angles, coming at the sales strategy and the marketing strategy, so just get ready. Now, this is what I've discovered. I've only brought this into my keynoting on the stages recently because I figured we weren't serving the audiences if they don't know where they're going to fail. So this is most people's why. So those who are in business, or those who are about to start business, the first question is why? Or for the ones who've been in business a while, why did you? And has that why changed? So here's the main reasons. This is global studies we've done. I get to speak to thousands of people around the world, and we've dialed this in all over the place, and it's the same stuff that comes up. So which ones resonate with you? So did you start a business up because you were passionate about something and wanted to drive it forward? Was it because you wanted freedom? What did you want? More money, more time to serve the world, less stress? All of those things. 3 of those things. Everyone's different, by the way, but it usually comes. You might be calling it a different name, but that's usually the big ones. Now think about what it is for you. And for those in business, how's that going for you? Because sadly, the very thing, this entrepreneurial thing, ain't easy. And I'm not going to lie to you, because that ain't going to serve you. It's tough. And the first 2 years is brutal. All right? Now, what really happens is that. You start off really passionate and you lose your mojo. Does that translate in Iceland? So you lose that passion. You end up doing everything in your business. You end up doing stuff you didn't even know existed in your business. You end up doing paperwork and nonsense and bookkeeping and admin and, oh my God, I didn't even know that stuff was there. You end up paying yourself last, cash flow problems, time. What's that? Can't serve yourself anymore, let alone serve the world. And let's not even talk about stress, shall we? So this is the brutal reality of business. But why? And sadly, there's a lot of bullshit out there. People are selling you dreams. People are selling smoke and mirrors that it's supposed to be easy, it's all fine, get rich quick. And it's crap. I've run enough businesses to know it's crap. I've run 20 businesses of my own. I've advised over 150, and I've spoken to thousands, and I see the same stuff over and over again. That is not coincidence. Now, just to dial the message in a little bit more, this is global statistics of why businesses fail, which, again, we've done our own stats around this, and it's the same. 46% of businesses fail because they don't know what they don't know. You all know what you know, so all of you are great experts at something, but it's the stuff that you don't know is going to kill you. And the second bit is the unbalanced experience of lack of people skills. A lot of people go into business as technician business owners. Our avatar is technician business owners now, right? Which means you're really good at something. You started a business off because you're really good at something, typically because you're passionate about something, you want to do something, or it's that screw you moment to your boss, in that you're in a business and you go, I can do better than him, idiot, I'm going to do it myself. So you're really good at something. And therefore, you don't know, she goes, yeah, my boss is Indian, I know that one. So therefore, you don't know. What you don't see as a technician is you don't see all the other stuff. You don't see how the accounts are run. You don't see how the people are hired. You don't see all that other stuff that's going on. And that's the stuff that's going to kill you. So if we know that, and the 76% of failure is due to basically lack of money and people skills, then actually we can reduce and reverse the failure rates in business by actually focusing on the bits you don't do. Now, let's just wrap that one up. Why have you lost the passion? Why is the mojo gone? Because you haven't got the people around you. It's a lack of people skills in a business. The reason you've lost your mojo is you've stopped doing what you love to do, and you're ending up doing all the other stuff you don't love to do. You haven't dialed in where your true value's added and your true talent is. You're trying to do all the other stuff that needs to manage. You haven't got the right people. The reason you haven't got the freedom and you've got all this responsibility is you haven't got the right people around you. You have not got the right support. And the reason you haven't got any money is because you don't have a finance strategy and you don't understand cash. And then when you get to the bottom 2 or 3, the time is people again, the service and the stress is people and cash. So this is a conference about branding and marketing, and you're going to get dialed in a whole different way. What I'm going to bring is I'm going to put it in context of the overall business to make sure you build the right thing. All right? So for most of you in the room, the 2 killer strategies when we come on to strategy in a little while, that most of you will be missing, and it will kill you, will be people and cash. And I would really suggest you dial those 2 in. So think hard about those a little bit later. Does that make sense? Now, but I chose 2005, so I'm a year later than when Runa said it. Now what I want to do is I want to take what Runa did, that exercise, and I want to put it in strategic context. So you all went back, you all knew what you were doing in 2004. Let's just use 2004 because your mind's there, right? You're all back in 2004 right now. You knew what you were doing there. What was the world doing there? What was technology doing then? Most people were in business in some form in 2004, yeah? And those who weren't, remember what 2004 was looking like when you were a teenager.
Cell phones?
So you had cell phones. What were they looking like?
They were getting smaller.
Yeah. And What could you do on them?
Text.
You could call and text. And WAP, if you remember that. Do you remember WAP? It was kind of the internet, but it kind of wasn't. But it kind of didn't work very well. That was then. Twitter?
No.
LinkedIn? No. Facebook? No. YouTube?
Yes.
Yes. LinkedIn was there, but it was very small and it was a posh database. MySpace was kicking around then. What was the internet doing? Video? No. Couldn't get the bandwidth. Email. Couldn't get it delivered. Email? We had lots of email. Stealing music was rife. That was the one thing that you could do in those days, was steal a load of music. Those are the good old days, eh? But look then, now I want you to think forward to 2020. I'm not going to go as far ahead as Runa strategically because it'll freak you out. But what is the world going to be doing in the business space by 2020? I
don't know.
That's the truth. I don't know either. All I know, it's going to be amazing. So that is the reality of strategy. And what I want to emphasize to all of you is speed. Do you see the speed? It's speeding up. And it's gone fast. And only the braves are going to survive. So I want to challenge all of you today to get your shit together and go out of this room with whatever you decide to do and do it now. Otherwise, you're going to regret it. And I hate regret. It's the one thing in life I don't want to live with. And I promise you all, you will regret not taking the action, because right now is the most exciting time in entrepreneurial history, bar none. You have the technology at your fingertips to do anything. You can compete with the corporates right now for the first time in history. You have the right access to the talent around the globe to do exactly what you want and have the best of the best talent virtually from anywhere in the world working with you right now. And you have access to cash like you've never had before. If you think there's no cash out there, it's horseshit. There is so much cash out there for entrepreneurs, you just don't know how to access it. So right now is the time. You need to, if you don't take action now, you will miss the bus. Now, be warned, excited and scared comes together. It's two sides of the same coin. So when you're excited just now with that vision, you're going to be scared. I am scared shitless all the time. And I mean it, really. The adventures I do, I am scared shitless all the time. I'm now currently planning, we're going to be climbing Everest next year. So in April and May, I'm out climbing Everest. I am scared shitless right now. So excited, because it's been a dream for 10 years. Scared shitless. Because I might die. And that's business. And, now this is strategy on a page. That's what's on your sheets, and that's what we're going to go for. Clearly, I'm not going to get your entire strategy on a page in what's the remaining of 20 minutes. But what I am going to do is I'm going to dial you into purpose very quickly and get the framework of strategy ready, because for the rest of the day you can continue to populate it as everyone else comes along. Because part of the problem with this environment, you're going to have a great day, but the problem with multi-speaker environments is it can freak you out, because you're going to get a lot today. You're getting dialed into some of the best stuff in Europe here today, world actually. So, and sometimes you can have a bit of overwhelm. So what this page is intended to do is take the best out of each thing and dial it back to, that's the bit I want to take from that, and what am I doing today? Across all areas of your business. So what we're going to do is the page takes you from vision. You just did it. Build on it. I'm not going to touch on that today, but build that vision right out and make it crystal clear and get it in your page. I'm going to touch on purpose. Values is a massive subject I can't touch, but there's loads of videos online and stuff around that. It's probably the most important thing when it comes to the people strategy, and it's a hard science. Sackable offense to me, not fluffy words that sit on a wall, all right? Up there's the company promise, your USP, your market space. That's going to get dialed in from the experts at the back of the room in different ways today. Most definitely, I know Andrea is going to be touching on what makes you amazing and that kind of stuff. Now we come through strategy. I'm going to break that out into the 5 elements of strategy. Sales, marketing, operations, finance, and people. You have to have a blend, otherwise it's going to kill you. And we're going to break it from the long term, medium term, and short term. If you do not bring it down to what you can do this month, it's not strategy. It's a hope. It's a whim. It's a vision. It's something else. We've got to bring it back to action. Because if you noticed, does people understand the law of attraction and the secret and that kind of stuff? I like it, but it's also horseshit. Sorry, it is. It's right, it works, but if you sit in front of the fridge with a banana up your bum meditating all day and hoping things are going to come to you, it ain't going to happen. You got to take action. Now, Runa has it. Runa has got that law of attraction. She put the vision in place, but what did she do? She did something. If she was going to sit there hoping and praying that Oprah was going to pick up the phone and call her, she'd still be sitting here today and you wouldn't have had that beautiful thing this morning. So there's the law of, if anyone's into the laws of the universe, look at all the other laws of the universe. Because there's quite a few of them and they just picked one. The law of action is kind of an important one, all right? So we're bringing, now note, for the more spiritual people in the room, the laws of the universe are built within this page. I don't talk about that because it's too woo-woo for most business people. But the law of attraction is sitting up there in vision, all right? But I'm also building in the law of action is you've got to get your shit together and do something, otherwise it ain't going to happen. It's going to stay up there for the rest of your life and you're going to live with, and you're going to die with regret. That's what we're going to do, but first of all I just need to frame strategy with you quickly. Because most people use this word and they use it really badly, all right? So, what is strategy? How many people in the room can put their hand up confidently and say they have a really good strategy? No one's going to do it now, it's like this dude's going to do it. Can anyone define it for me? What does it mean to you? You're not you, Runa. I know you know.
Strategy?
What is strategy?
Strategy is how you're going to do it.
How are you going to do it? Good. Plan. Yeah. Anything else?
A path to your vision.
Path to the vision. Good. Like that. It's a tough one. I asked this question to audiences all over the world, and I have had hundreds of different responses. And yet we all use the word in business confidently, and usually in very much the wrong context. And it's one of my passions, because I'm the strategy man. You think I'm a bit passionate about that. Because really, I just took the dictionary definition. So go and argue with the dictionary, not me. Because so many people have hammed this up in a different way. Because who said plan? Plan. Because that's what it is. Let's not overcomplicate it, right? So this is the dictionary definition. A strategy is a plan for obtaining a specific major result. And yet the dictionary definition for a tactic is a plan for promoting a desired end result. That's the problem. Most business owners think they're doing strategy, think they have a strategy, and yet they're being incredibly tactical on a hamster wheel of doing and going around in circles going nowhere. And the only difference in that definition is major. We have to get back to major. It's the big stuff strategy, not the small stuff. Now this got ruined by the MBAs. Any MBAs in the room? Oh, you poor bastards. I have one too. I don't say that very often. But the problem, this came out of MBA school because a lot of strategy has come out of the MBA schools. A lot of strategy has come out of the corporate world. Therefore, strategy has been defined by those worlds. And what is major to the corporations is not major to us small businesses. So we've got to change the... So I don't care what it is for you, as long as it's major for you. So it's not mergers and acquisitions and corporate turnarounds and that kind of stuff in this instance. It is I need to build out my brand right now. That's the major piece for you right now. Whatever your major is, as long as it's major and you're not bullshitting yourself and it's tactical. Okay, so we have to, so what I'm going to be talking about today is the major stuff. And we have to start with purpose and vision. That's the big stuff. If we're not going towards that, what the hell we do? If you hadn't done that exercise with Runa, what were you shooting for? What were you building? Why? And that's why we have to go as why. So bear with me. I want to do 5 minutes. This is going to be rapid fire, your why. Now get into your pages on this and start thinking, because this is what will define you. This, for me, bar none, all my clients, bar none, I start here. I will not do business strategy with anyone without doing this first. This is how I rescue businesses. This is how I scale businesses. This is how I TEDx businesses. from here. It's not fluffy, it's not soft, it's the hardest piece of business, is the why. But most people have you must have a why. If you're in business or you're thinking about going into business, then you kind of got some why, some clue, but usually it's one or two of these things and you're missing the other elements. Now this came out of all the experiences I had of why did that business fail when it's had so much? It had cash, it had the right people, it had these MBAs, these really smart people in it, and yet it still collapsed. And yet that idiot over there who hasn't got a qualification to his name, and to be frank, is stupid, he's got a good multi-million-pound business. Why is that? By the way, the clever ones, you're the worst, so just, this is why you've got to get it simple. You'll overcomplicate things. All right? So why is that? Why do some businesses fail? Has anyone in the room seen a business be really successful and gone, I really don't get that? I just have no clue why they're successful. And others you go, that was awesome, I can't understand why they collapsed. It's usually because they're missing one of these. Equally, when I was hugely successful in the property realm and the banking collapse came and I was forced into bankruptcy on massive land deals, prior to that, I was at my richest point in my life, I was miserable. That was weird. So sometimes you climb the ladder of success, as Stephen Covey said, and you find it's leaning up against the wrong wall. So we've got to be careful with this one. If any one of these are out of balance, you've just built the wrong thing. If you're about to coming out of here today, you're going to go and put a load of effort into building something really cool. So let's just make sure it's the right one, okay? Now, here's the 5 elements of purpose. For me, bar none, you have to have passion with what you do. If you don't have it, and you're doing it for other reasons, stop it. Exit it. I've taken a number of businesses where they've come to me and that was the missing bit, and we've actually, don't panic if you're in that place right now, you just got to work an exit plan and we've got to sell the business. Okay? That's when I'm working exits. So if you haven't got the passion is what gets you through the dark times. The passion is it's going to be dark times, it's going to be tougher times, you're going to have to make some really tough decisions, and that's the passion that gets you through, bar none, and I have not seen anything where that is not true. And equally, you've got to know exactly, and I mean exactly, what your passion is. Because when you start to answer that question, that's going to be tough. I think I love people. Not good enough. Exactly what do you love to do with the people? Now, why are we dialing that one in? If we understand exactly what you're passionate about, we outsource all other stuff. We have to start from there. That drives your people strategy. Next, service and value. I work with a lot of charities as well, so sometimes they don't understand those words, which they should. It's service and value. What is the exact service and value you're giving to the world, to the marketplace? Service is the bit people can get. I added value and I go more hard on value because most people don't understand the value. And I mean, you have to bring it down to pound note terms or krona terms. If you haven't got a value, you will not make money. Okay? Now you add in there opportunity, which is market opportunity. A lot of people will niche too far. There's a whole lot of niching strategy out there right now. And don't get me wrong, niching absolutely works, but you can niche too far. If the market opportunity isn't there, and you haven't got the right value, you ain't gonna make money. And you're gonna go broke, and you'll be miserable, and the mojo's gone, and all that kind of things. So you have to get this dialed in. Now, if you get those 3 things right, which most of the people in the room will start to get, because if you're passionate and you're adding service and value and get that dialed in, and there's an opportunity for you to do good, that starts a roller coaster. Now you should be able to earn money enough to live the lifestyle you choose. If you don't, something's broken in the chain. You get those 5 working, you've just built the right business. You get one of those off kilter, you're done. Now I come into every different industry's got different weaknesses. Every single one of you in the room will have a different gap. Any bankers in the room? Good, I can go after bankers. Bankers, accountants, lawyers, professional services. Now, I'm generalizing massively here, but what? They're clever, they got into that degree, they saw an opportunity. Is there an opportunity for them to make money? Yeah, market opportunity is massive. Can they earn cash? Yeah, drives a massive lifestyle for them. They get locked into that trap. Are they totally passionate about what they do? No, screw it, we'll sacrifice our passion for our lives just to earn that money. Are they adding service and value? Debatable. That's that trap. The other trap, and the other way around, is the entrepreneurial trap, where you absolutely love what you do. And this is for most people in the room, I would suggest you love what you do. You're adding service and value. The market opportunities, they're great. You start earning money, and the cycle begins, and you will destroy your lifestyle. The things that will go will be your health and your relationships. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And you don't. And again, why are you doing it? Because you've lost time. If you are destroying your health, because if you can't afford an hour to go and do what you love to do to keep your health and your energies up, and you've destroyed your relationship because you haven't got time with your spouse and the rest of it, it means you haven't got time, which means you haven't got the people in the business, which means you've built the wrong business. Get it? So look, take a couple of minutes. You can start to see this is a life work. So we're not going to get it done today. Take a couple of minutes, start those 5 things now, and start to dial it in. And equally, highlight the one you go, shit, it's that one. That's the one I got the gap on. And go away after today and do work on it. So take a few minutes now and just start dialing that in, because it's going to hit strategy in a minute. Where you're weak here will drive which strategy you need to develop now. So do the work. 2 minutes, go. Individually, by the way, this isn't a shared exercise thing. This is your purpose. What time? 11 minutes, yeah? So we 10 past, wrap. Cool. This is hard work, but it's work you've got to do. Some really good questions coming from around the room, which is this purpose for me, or is this for something else? Well, if you run your business, it's yours, and you start to see this cascades through the whole business. You recruit on this drives strategy. If you're in somebody else's business and you're working for someone else, you will see, you do it for you now, that's why you're in the room, you do it for you, and then you look back at the company you're working in, and you go, is my purpose, does this company have a purpose? Sadly, the answer will usually be no. The work I do is trying to drive purpose through business again globally. That's what I'm trying to do, and I don't see much of it. And if they haven't, then maybe you can influence them to get it. And if they do, and your purpose isn't aligned, then maybe you need to leave. Maybe that's your decision. I truly believe we should be aligned purposefully in businesses. That's what I believe. Now let's just get into strategy quickly. He's leading the charge. I've been watching him. He's already done 5. So the rest of you, he's the speed merchant. So blame him that if you haven't gone through the work. Good job, mate. Good job. So let's just get into strategy. You can see where that drives, okay? If you do the work on that, then you can go deep. Now, what I will do following today, I have a business growth academy, and it's all dialed in and digital. There's about 2 hours of me guiding you step by step through all of these paths. I will make sure we get a free link so they get access just to the purpose piece of it, okay? So that, if nothing else, I will guide you on video, online, step by step through this entire process, because it's powerful, all right? And that's my gift to you, to make sure you go away and do this properly, if nothing else. So if you get your purpose right, and remember the vision's there, you're going to build out the other stuff later on, values, just whatever you do, just look at values, look at what we do with values, look at what other people do with values. It's a huge topic, and if you haven't got your handle around that, it drives the whole people strategy. But let's just have a look at strategy quickly. So we're going to drive strategy through. Now strategy is like, for me, long-term, medium-term and short-term. You've got to decide what your time frames are. And for most of you, the time frames are going to be short. Strategic time frames have shortened because of the speed. You can't go out 3 to 5 years strategically anymore because you don't know what it's going to look like. So what's the point? You're wasting mental energy. Put the vision out there, go towards there, and most of you, if you're going through any form of transition, I would say long-term strategy is 1 year, end of 2015. Medium-term strategy is 1 quarter, and short-term is 1 month. That's a common time frame that I see now. That means it's punchy, and it's believable, and you dial it right in, and there's no excuses. So the why I go long-term, medium-term, as I said earlier, Everest is the plan for next year. Now, that's the long-term strategy. I laid that down 8 years ago. So do you just throw yourself at Everest? Do you just throw yourself at a massive business strategy and idea? No. So what do you think I did first? Bear in mind I hadn't climbed a mountain before. Trained. Went up a mountain. A small one. Started in Scotland. There you go. Ben Nevis. That's not such a small mountain, by the way. I thought it was small.
I just got to the foothills to give up.
Yeah, don't blame you. I should have given up there with you. So you start in the small. So with my mountains, I had to start and go, oh yeah, I can actually do this. And then I built it up and went through Kilimanjaro, ended up climbing the highest mountains in Europe and North America and up to 7,000 meter peaks in the Andes. So slowly but surely, I built it up. That's what we've got to do in business. We've got to take the first step, but we've got to know where we're going. Now with strategy with you guys, that is what strategy is. I want you to think sales, marketing, operations, finance, and people. Now, this is in your page, and all we're going to do is look at your long term, for all of you, if your medium term is 1 year, just go 1 year, end of 2015, really, really quickly. What is your major, bearing in mind you've got a bit of a clue around the vision now, and you're starting to have a think about what the purpose of the business is, what is the major things you need to address by the end of next year? What does that look like? It starts to sound a little bit goal-esque at this point, rather than task-esque. So, and it's that, and here's some clues. So sales, pipeline and people. Do you need salespeople? Do you need sales channel? Do you need a sales force? Do you learn to need to sell? Because if you've got your own business, guess what? You're the salesperson. Most people forget that bit. Marketing, brand. What is that? What does it need to look like? Is it digital? Is it offline? Is it online? What do we need to do within that? Operations, systems. Do you need systems? Do you need automation within those systems? In the world we're in, it's all about the ops. Everyone thinks it's about being a speaker and just being a speaker. It's not. It's a huge operations game. The whole logistics of putting this event on, everything that Runa's done to put this event on, is hugely operational. Finance, do you need raised capital? Do you need visibility? Do you need to know what the hell cash is? Do you need to learn that stuff? People, what talent do you need to make all that happen? If you miss one of those, you're at risk. Which is the one or two you're missing? Which ones do you need to dial in? Which ones do you need to go and learn? And I would suggest strongly you look at the bottom two hard. That is the weakness for most. That is the blind spots. That's what will kill you. So just go 1 year out. Think about the sales, marketing, operations, finance, people strategies. What is the major thing? If you can do those things, that's a great year. And it's stepping you towards the vision and the purpose of what you want to do. Now you're going to, for the people who are sort of developing their own ideas, this will just be a kind of framework for you to start to step into. You'll also see how you can use this in your own businesses as well. So just take a minute. What are those things? What's missing? What's the gaps? What's going to revolutionize you? If your passion's gone, if whatever's in the purpose, look to the strategy. Now you're going to be building on this all day. I wanted to frame it up. I wanted to give you a framework. I wanted to dial in the two strategies that I ain't going to be talking about so much today, which is cash and people. So I wanted to dial those two in for you, because the rest of the day we're going to be really focusing around the marketing arena more, and it's going to be touching in the sales arena more. Okay? Now let me just wrap this up. So I opened it up with the desert. 2 years ago I did an Ironman. Now an Ironman is a 2.2 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and a full marathon, back to back, done within 17 hours. Otherwise you're not an Ironman, you're just a man. Tough gig. What inspired me to do the Marathon des Sables was a guy who did it who had one leg, and that removed all my excuses. When I did the Marathon des Sables, one of the guys I ran it with had broken his back 3 years previously, and was told he'd never walk again, and yet he came across the desert with me. That made me realize that anything was possible. The oldest person to do the desert with me whilst I ran it was an 82-year-old great-grandfather who was showing to his grandchildren, who were all a bit disruptive and a bit dysfunctional, to show his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren what was possible in life and to give them a role model. When I did the Ironman, I didn't expect to have that spiritual feelings that I had on all the mountains. I've met amazing people along the way. And yet on the morning of the Ironman, when I stood getting ready to get into the lake at 5 o'clock in the morning, scared shitless, which is normal, into the crowd came Team True Spirit. Team True Spirit's ex-veterans who've lost limbs. And these guys came through to the front of the ranks. Everyone was clapping them in. It was the most humbling moment of my life. Because I was all wrapped up in my own thing, wrapped up in my own ego, wrapped up in doing an Ironman again. And there was this guy with one arm, this guy with one leg, about to do what for me, with all my limbs, seemed impossible. And at the front was one man being carried by his comrades who had no legs. No legs. I mean, cut to there, carried, and placed in the lake. And that guy spent the rest of the day doing the Ironman with me and my friends. I realized in that day what was possible in life. If a man with no legs can do an Ironman, then none of you have any excuses. Okay? So go out there, be brave, get through that fear, dial it back into the vision and the passion of what you are all about, and build that strategy out. This is a really punchy session, guys. I know it's short, but it's going to frame you up for the day, and I hope to serve you further. We've got loads of stuff online. We'll get you the links. We're going to get you the free videos, so we can take you deeper and hold your hands through this whole process. And I know the rest of the day is going to be amazing with my colleagues later on. So thank you. Good luck. God bless.